Ah, there's our guest of honor. Welcome in, Fen. We're going to this page. Rawr. Charge. Oh, my camera's way too low. There we go. We can have this go down a little bit farther and a little more that way. Yeah, I'm still fiddling with this thing, getting it in just the right spot. There we go. That should be better. How's that sound? But welcome in, Fen. Welcome for our fourth adventure for Nostalgia Streams, but our third system that we're going to be talking about. I have the PlayStation 3 games lined up here. I've actually already marked a few of them as, where's my thing? As no or copyright issues, because, of course I have Rock Band, DJ Hero, and stuff on here, so a lot of those are going to be new. Unless there is some sort of stipulation where I could say, like, I'm not going to monetize my videos at all, because I would like to do, like, a charity stream with Rock Band, where, like, people can donate to whatever we're going to be doing the charity for, and then the money, whatever you donate to pick a song for me to play, would go to the charity. I wanted to call it, like, Rock Band Jukebox or something, but I had to talk with Twitch before I even plan on doing anything like that. But welcome in. We have, so in the last one we had, what, like 140 games to look through? This is just reaching past 100, so we might be able to get through all these in one stream if we go a little bit, or we might have to break this into two, but who knows. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Pulling up the case. Pulling out the case. Alright, first up, we have Alice Madness Returns, based on the American McGee Alice in Wonderland. This is the sequel. It does come with the first game as well, though. I have beaten this. It is very depraved. It is very, oh, I had like a whole thing I was going to say for this. It's very depraved, very grotesque. But in a way, it fits Alice in Wonderland perfectly. And it's actually a very good action-adventure game with puzzle elements. It was originally a PC game, but they ported the original one was a PC game, but they ported it to the PlayStation 3 when they made this one. Dark, grotesque, brutal, but actually very, very strong storytelling for the game, and also very good voice acting for the time period as well. So, I have beaten both of those before. I enjoyed them. So, the PlayStation 3 era is actually gonna, like, where I said, like, I have barely touched this game, I don't know. Most of these games I did play. So, we'll see how many of these we actually beat when I go through them. So, Alice Madness Returns slash American McGee's Alice are available for playing. Are you interested? Alice, no for me. Okay, that's fine. It'll probably be a future stream at some point, but we'll have other games. We have this one I have not beaten. This one takes a long time to play, just because there's a lot of like stipulations you have to do with the game. We have Alpha Protocol. This is a spy espionage game where you're part of an elite group. You're being recruited for an elite group. But you can play it in different variations. You can go guns blazing, you can go stealth. There's literally players that want to go crazy with the game. You get like a main objective in an area and then a bunch of side objectives. You can literally, as soon as you go in, go for the main objective. You're going to be screwing yourself over because it actually wants you to branch out and do all the little side missions, which would take like reinforcements away, draw enemy forces away, take away air cover. So it's a choice-based espionage game. It was kind of trying to emulate what Mass Effect was doing, but with a like a spy, Secret Service style storyline and stuff like that. So is that possible or possible? Yes. Yeah, how many drinks down? Bring you closer. Put you over here so I can have water as well. Well, yeah. Okay. That's weird. I had to like reach around my mic for where I have my water. Um, and it's the only one I have on the PS3 because it was the only one not upgraded. I have... Oh, you cannot see in this light from that distance. We got Batman Arkham Origins. This is the only one not done by Rocksteady. I enjoyed this one. I did beat this one. This is like the one where the entire game takes place on Christmas Eve. It is a kind of a boss rush style because you have to like take out 8 different villains in one night because they're all trying to take you out type situation. It's the only one that doesn't have Mark Hamill playing the Joker out of these games, but it is a stellar performance by Troy Baker emulating or impersonating Mark Hamill's Troy Baker. Um, so Batman Arkham game, not the one done by Rocksteady. I enjoyed it, but it depends on how much we want to do because this one took the Arkham City location from Arkham City and then expanded it so you had like another borough of Gotham that you could go into. So Batman, yes, potential. Okay. Oh, it's potential, not possible. Hold on, I gotta fix this. There we go. Enter, enter. Okay. Probably not going to be for your cup of tea. I enjoyed the game. I never beat it backwards. Interesting. We have... Oh, no, they're not backwards. We got Battlefield Bad Company 2. First-person shooter game. I think this one, it takes place in... I think most of the Battlefield games nowadays take place in modern day. This one is different from the other Battlefield games because the Bad Company games are more about humor, because it's kind of like the... what's the word I'm looking for? The eclectic group of heroes all meshed together, so it's like you have the stoic one, you have the wisecracker, you have the one that kind of like is just there. They all work together in well in a situation, but it's still a action first-person shooter. I know you're not really into those, so I'm pretty much feeling the next 2 are going to be no's for you, because I have Battlefield Bad Company 2 and Battlefield 3. So I'm gonna finish up this Dr. Pepper and I'll have my water close by. We'll shift the water over here. Battlefield Bad Company 2 has a well-written cast because, as I said, they're they're the misfits of the army. So they're kind of like all banded together. They can do their jobs well, and they do their jobs well together, but they banter, they argue, they fight. So I think Bad Company 2 would be much more up your alley. Battlefield 3 has a good story campaign. It follows like a special ops group going against a terrorist organization that's in Africa, that's in Middle East. Then it goes to assaulting on the U.S. soil, and then everything else. So it's kind of the same vein of how like the Call of Duty Modern Warfare games, the Battlefield is trying to catch up with those. I felt the story was good. I never beat 3. I beat Bad Company because the cast was memorable with that one. Ooh. Lightheaded today. What's been... Potential no. Okay. That is fair. Potential no. Not typing correctly. Okay. One of Hyphen's favorite characters of all time. And actually, I really do enjoy this game. I have Bayonetta, the gun witch, which actually, strangely enough, there is a game called Bullet Witch on Steam. I think she might have been inspired a little bit from design-wise from her, but the gameplay is very much to Devil May Cry, because it's the same producer did both Devil May Cry and this. So you have a sassy witch that has guns on her hands, guns on her shoes. You can implement different types of attacks and everything like that. It has bullet time. You're a witch that is fighting Bayonetta. Uh, we do have Bayonetta 2 on the Wii U. I need to get it on the Switch. And actually, I can revamp Bayonetta and get it on the PlayStation 4 at some point. Is that a yay or a nay? Ah. I have like a weird headache. It's like right here, like right below the ears. I thought so. Yes. Alright. Next we have... I have not touched this one that much. It was fun for what I played, but we have... The story is very weird to me, but the combat... Oh, well, it's Bayonetta. There's like time travel and everything else like that, so... we have Blades of Time. From what I can tell, kind of similar to a Bayonetta style, where it's a hack and slash adventure with a female protagonist. You have time manipulation powers, but it's not like a bullet time. Like you can choose to stop time in order to make a platform stay, so you can jump on it and do other things. So it's kind of a action puzzle platformer, if I can remember correctly. I know I'm not really describing it that well, but I haven't played this one that much. So kind of interesting that they came right back to back, but yeah, very reminiscent to Bayonetta. Okay, that is fair. Like, I didn't know much about it either. It just looked interesting. Like, this was the time period where I had like Game Informer completely, and like I knew what the hell I was doing with like games and stuff. I would like be able to do research on games a lot. I've lost that opportunity because Game Informer is no longer doing physical subscriptions if you're on the GameStop membership, which I find to be bullshit. Next up, we have a fighting game. We got Blaze Blue Calamity Trigger. This is one of the Axis fighting games, so it's very stylized anime protagonist fighting games. Lots of combos, lots of special moves. Kitten, you've been fed. Hello? Okay. Yeah. Yep. So that's going, so we'll do potential yes. Right, because we did talk about doing a potential fighting stream. Next one, I already put as no, just because I don't even know if I still have the apparatus I need for it. It was Book of Spells. It's a Harry Potter spin-off game. It used the PlayStation Move, and it was the only game that I know of that used the Smart Book that PlayStation developed, where like you had the PlayStation camera pointing at a literal book that you opened up the book and turned the pages, and when you had this game in, it would manipulate inside the book, and it would have like a different spell, and you would actually do the spell in the book with your... Yeah, like it was literally like a... I might still have it. If I find it, I can post a picture. But yeah, it utilized the PlayStation 3's PlayStation camera, and you would point the camera at the book, and you would have one motion controller. And then with the game being implemented, you would have the book on the floor, your wand in hand, literally like the controller. And then when you looked at the TV, it would turn into the what's her name? Miranda Goshawk's Book of Spells would be the book on screen, and your controller would have turned into a wand. A really interesting concept. If I could get it to work, and if I still have the book, I would try it. If we're interested. It's not a very long or intuitive thing, because it's more like just kind of like showcasing. Well, I'll actually change this to potential yes. Just to kind of like showcase it. That sounds good. It was cool though, and they were supposed to be like all these things where like you could like the one that they had a like demo for that they were showing online and stuff like that, but that never came out. There was like a Jack and the Beanstalk one where you could like use the controller to tap different parts, and you would actually make the beanstalk grow out of the book and stuff like that, and then like your character would crawl up the book and stuff like that, like crawl up the beanstalk off the book and stuff like that. But it was never fully developed, which is a shame because it was a very interesting technology. It was kind of like smart glass, but that you could buy easily because the book was only like 30 or 40 bucks. Like I know like smart glass with Microsoft, with whoever does that, that's like $500 or something like that. So it was a cheap way to have like a um, full 3D space that you could have appear in front of you on a book, which was really cool. But they never really did anything with it. Sony like made all this stuff for the Move that they had concepts for, and they made like one or two things for them, and then went, it's not making money, so they moved on. I'm curious what would have happened. Like, I'm gonna sound very like out there for gamings, but imagine like imagine learning potential, like educational potential for doing something like that. Like if PlayStation had set a division for like education R&D, and you could have like had the books open up and had like an actually fully 3D realized space for like learning molecules, learning elements, learning like architecture, where you could actually like try to build up a building out of the book and stuff like that. But they didn't seem to think there was any money in it, so they scrapped the project, unfortunately. Um, but that's my take on it. Literally the only thing I remember ever coming out of it was this Book of Spells game. So the other issue is I don't know if I still have my PlayStation 3 camera. So that's going to be one of the main issues. I mean, yeah, but could you imagine? Could you imagine like a thing where it's like you have the camera pointing at it and you can actually build out of the book, or like have it turn the page and like something actually comes out of the book to teach you that, instead of just reading on screen or having like images coming on screen, you can actually have like a fully 3D realized space that comes off the book in that situation. I think that would have been cool. I know there's like potential that people, because there's like I know there's people that do like the massive like D&D tables where it's like there's like little holograms and stuff like that instead of like using like the physical pieces, but it's like that thing's like $2,000 or something like that. Uh, all right. Anyways, moving on. We have one of my favorite shooters. I know you're not big into shooters, but one of my favorite shooting series. We have, and I need to upgrade this one to the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. We got Borderlands. This is one of the most fun looter shooters ever made. Um, First one, not as iconic because the villain is not really there. The first major villain that actually is iconic is in the second one. I do have that one on the PlayStation 4 in the Handsome Jack collection. As I said, I do need to upgrade this one, so if I do stream it, I'll probably wait until after I'm able to upgrade this. A little bit. You're on an alien planet is the only difference. But the other difference is Fallout is more about just true exploration and discovering the world. Borderlands is literally find enemies, kill enemies, find better weapons. It's kind of like playing Diablo, but with guns and in first person. So are we interested in the Borderlands series? Because I'm going to ask you something off stream later about the next generations of games, because I don't know if we want to like do a tier list like this as well, or if we want to just go on and just do those as normal. But we got the first Borderlands. Is that yay, mid, or no? Potential yes. We in between. Alright. This I don't even know if this game's gonna work anymore, but it was Bethesda trying to do something different. It's called Brink. It was a first person supposed to I can speak. Supposed to be heavily pushed for multiplayer and like different levels of character choice. So like you would have like speed characters, you'd have the support characters, you'd have the medium build characters and the heavies and stuff like that, and you'd have to make like teams of all the characters mixed together in order to do objectives and phases. Other teams. The only issue is that the game never got the fan base that it wanted, because I think they moved off of this too quickly and started moving into Fallout 4? I don't remember if Brink came out before Fallout 3 or not. That's the only issue that I have with my history of Bethesda. I don't remember what it was, but it was a cool concept, because you could have like really fast parkour characters, or you could have like the lumbering guys that have machine guns. I'll put potential, because it's middle of the road. It's not a terrible game, but it's not the best either. Oh, game I want to play. I'm already going to wreck copyright, because I know we're going to have issues with it. One of my favorite games, one of the funniest games ever made. We got Brutal Legend. That's also true for that one, for Brink, if it even works. But we have Brutal Legend, the hack and slash strategy game starring Jack Black as Eddie Briggs, the world's greatest roadie. This is one of my favorite games. It's great though. I mean, is it a little over the top and a little crude sometimes? Yes, that is kind of Jack Black's humor when it comes to his more of adult stuff. But I mean, if you listen to Tenacious D, like half those songs are like, "What did he just say?" But I'm putting it as copyright. I would love to play this, just because it is a very good game. I wish they would make another one, but it's up to them. Okay, so next up, we have, okay, this is the worst. I'm gonna just put it out, because I'm gonna be honest with these games. This is the worst one in the series. This is The Bureau, XCOM Declassified. This is a side game, a secondary story based off the XCOM series, which is the one where you're a government agency protecting the world from an alien threat and such like that. The issue with this one is it goes from the isometric strategy style game to a third-person shooter, but you still have to try and do the strategy elements from that position. I don't remember. I think I only made it like 2 missions in, and then I got very, very confused what the hell I was doing. The concept's cool. Like, I love the concept of XCOM. But the gameplay is not only the XCOM games hard, but the fact that it then makes the gameplay hard to control. Because it's hard enough controlling 4 or 5 people from an isometric view to make sure you have all the right places. In a third-person view, yes, you can see more than, say, if this was game in first person, because that would have probably been impossible. But you don't get to see blind spots as well. You don't get to see any potential strategy elements. There's still the permadeath. So if a character dies besides your character, they're just dead. So it is those kind of elements. Yeah, just for the Bureau, I would say potential no. I do have the original. I do have the XCOM. I have XCOM 1 on the PlayStation 3 downloaded, and I have XCOM 2 that I can download on the PS5. Those games I'm okay with. Like, yes, I'm gonna get frustrated with the game because something's gonna go wrong and someone's gonna die, but that is that game. Like, you have to try and be, like, ready for anything, even if something comes out of the blue and you're not prepared for it. I have a feeling these are going to be no's. I'm not sure how you feel about these. I did buy them just because everyone was playing them, but I've actually never played them. I have Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and 3. I'm not going to pull up the other one. These are going the wrong way. These are what everyone said defined the first-person shooter market back on this generation. I've never played them. I kind of have a love-hate relationship. Actually, no, I have more of just a hate relationship with Call of Duty nowadays. I love them. I love the Call of Duty games back on the PlayStation 2. The Big Red One and the Finest Hour. These two are supposed to all still have really good campaigns, but they've still went more the route to focus on the multiplayer aspect, which has been the focus of Call of Duty more and more and more down the years, which is why I'm personally fed up with them. I know a lot of people are fed up with them. It's only the um, strictly I only play Call of Duty gamers that keep this franchise alive, which literally I don't know how you can keep playing the same game that comes out over and over and over again. Okay, I'll put these as potential. I'll put these as mid-range, so not potential, no. I'll put these as potential because these two are supposed to have good stories. The only issue is all three of them are one interlinking story, and I don't have the first one yet. And playing the remake of Modern Warfare is not the same as playing the original one. So I'll put these as potential, just straight potential. Just straight potential. Alright, next. I have a feeling this is going to be yes. I have Catherine. A bizarre puzzle game created by Atlas. About a man's choice between two different lovers. One is a long-lasting lover, one is a one-night stand, but might be potential. But it's the choices you make that change the outcome of the game, and then it has very difficult and very intricate puzzles with the block moving and everything. It's literally just a block moving puzzle, but then it has an intricate story mixed into it. And it's Atlas. The animations are amazing. The music's great. I think it's still Shoji Meguro does the music for that. Troy Baker's the main character. I think I just got stuck because one of the puzzles is really difficult. This is another one, though, that I would probably try and upgrade before we possibly stream it, because they do have the Catherine. Okay, potential, yes. That is very fair with that. Now for one of the best games based off a movie character. Not based off a movie exactly. And actually what's nice about this one is it's 2 games in one. We have The Chronicles of Riddick, Assault on Dark Athena. This is based off of the Chronicles of Riddick movie, Pitch Black. So it actually, and they actually have Vin Diesel reprising his role. It's very well written. At least the first game I know is very well written. The Escape from Butcher Bay is also on this disc. It is very well done. You kind of have that power trip of being Riddick. You can see in the dark. You can be master of close quarters combat with different types of knives and stuff like that. Riddick is yes. Okay. I kind of want to gauge, because I know that you sometimes are like, no, I don't want to do first-person shooters. But as you said, if it's a first-person shooter with a good story or very high entertainment value, then yes, I can definitely understand that. So in contrast to this, I don't know how I feel about this next one, because I've never actually played the series. I got it when it was on sale. We have Crysis 2. I think they just remastered. I'm actually very vague on the lore of Riddick as well, but it sounds like a fun time, so I mean, why not? So we have Crysis 2. The thing for this game is I don't know if it has a good story and lore. I just know Crysis was the game that everyone was freaking out over because it was like the most beautiful first-person shooter when it first came out. So I don't know like how well this would line up. Yeah, so we just gonna go. I think we'll just go potential with this one. Same as how we are with the Modern Warfares, because I don't know much about the Crysis series. It was always interesting to me, but it never really like truly caught on with me. Just like if there was like massive background lore that I need to pay attention to or whatnot. Because this is Crysis 2. I don't even own Crysis 1. So, now for a game that I have beaten, I enjoy, and what it's based off of, I love. I have The Darkness. This is an amazing first-person shooter. This was one of the original PlayStation 3 games to come out. It is based off of the Top Cow and Image comic, The Darkness, where you play as what's his first name? I know his last name's Estacado. But you play as a mob hitman that is betrayed by his betrayed by his boss, and that time frame of being betrayed, he inherits his blood right, which is the power of darkness, which means he can literally use darkness around him to conjure attacks, conjure minions, everything else like that. It's like literally like a 150 comic long, 150 issue comic run. The last I checked, and that was a long time ago. I don't even know if it's still running, but I find I love, actually, I didn't even know about the comic until I played this game, but I love, can I please type correctly? I love this, this concept of what this game does, because there's different elements. You play in New York, and then something happens that I'm not gonna say what happens, but then you go to another realm, and you have to escape that realm. I'm not gonna tell you what realm is. So if we do decide to play it, then I'll actually point out what exactly is happening. Next up, continuing the dark, we have Dark Sector. This is a hack and slash action adventure game where I don't know exactly. I can't remember what the weapon's called. I think it's just called the glaive. You are a genetically modified soldier, and you have a weapon attached to you that has like, going really old school. You probably. You remember Kroll, or did you ever watch Kroll? And you remember the glaive? It's very reminiscent to that. I think it's bigger, but you have that type of weapon where it's like the boomerang with like the boomerang or discus, but it has the blades attached to it. So you use that type of weapon, but I don't know much about the story of it, so it was something that looked interesting, and the gameplay was very tight for the time, so I don't know much about the game. I just knew that it looked fun. But I'm not like 100% sure about it. Oh wow, I still have this one. I forgot about that. Potential, yes. Excellent. If I could type, that would be the greatest thing ever. Okay, so this one I have played a little bit. This one is confusing gameplay-wise, but it works. So this is Dark Void. This is a third-person adventure game. I can't remember if you could tend to another dimension or another time, but you end up stranded on this land. I don't remember if it's another planet, another dimension, another time frame, but you end up getting a jetpack, which like you see on the cover. But because of this, you actually have, you don't you don't normally actually, do you use the jetpack and fly around in just general combat? I can't remember, but it allows for full 3D combat sometimes in like a general space. So like you'll use your jetpack to hang from the bottom of a from a bottom of a cliff, and then you use that, and then it's a traditional third-person shooter where you're using aim cover, so you're literally pulling yourself from the bottom of the cliff to look over the top and to shoot, while other people are looking down from other pieces of cover, or they're able to like sit on like flat surfaces like this but looking straight down at you. And it's kind of like very mind-boggling how they even came up with the concept for some of these fights and stuff like that. So I give them real good props for what they were able to do. I don't remember the story as much as I would like, because it is one of those games where it's like, I played it, I enjoyed what I played, but I never finished it. But I remember the mechanics being very spot on for what they were trying to do, because I mean, you're trying to wield a jetpack to get across. I have a feeling a lot of these are going to be potential yes. I have a feeling this is going to be just a general yes, because this isn't, once again, funny, one of my favorite games, but funny as hell, very raunchy. I grew up a certain way with this era of gaming, so yeah, unique mechanics sound interesting. For a game that does not have super interesting mechanics because it follows a traditional run and gun gameplay, third person action stuff, we have Deadpool. I absolutely love this game. I thought that this was one of the funniest things I've ever played. You cannot buy these games anymore, actually. The PC, PS3, and PS4 versions were the last produced. No, the PS3 were made in mass production. Then they brought the PS4, but they did not mass produce the PS4. You cannot buy these digitally anymore. I don't think either. I'd have to double check. I think they took this off the market to buy digitally. So if you don't have a physical copy, you can't buy this game anymore, which is a shame. It's licensing issues, unfortunately. But you play as the Merc with the mouth. You go on to Deadpool is too over the top. It's worse than that. Have you seen this one? Because the initial scene is Deadpool sitting in his armchair, and it's Nolan North voicing 3 different characters, and they're all in your head, which is fun. I'm gonna put potential yes, just because I do really like this game. While considering EA just shot the bed on this is probably gonna be potential yes. I have Dead Space 2. I never sold this copy. I think we already know how this is gonna go, but if you haven't heard, EA has scrapped the Dead Space 2 remake, unfortunately. They said it didn't make enough sales with the Dead Space 1 remake, even though it sold like 15 million copies. But I know. But we do have the original, so we could still actually play the storyline from the original game, which unfortunately means they're not going to expand on whatever story they had with 3 or on, because I believe they were supposed to continue the series, but Dead Space 3 was such a shit show because of their decisions. So Dead Space 2, I have a feeling is potential yes or yes from you. I know you. You were excited to send me Dead Space. You're still excited for me to play more of the Resident Evil games, too. I need to get into those. Potential, yes. Okay. In all honesty, I think the second one was the scariest in the series. Well, the original series. Dead Space Remake was really, really well done, too. A game that I have not played, but I believe I know the concept of the game. But there are parts I may be absent for. The gore gets... Oh, I can definitely understand that, especially like the exploding babies. Like, no judgment on that. We have Deception 4. This is a cult series based off of based from Koei Tecmo. I believe the original game in the series was all the way back on the PlayStation 2 called Trapped. And I wanted to get it, but I never bought it. So, from what I can tell, this game is... How to explain it? What was the... Is it Dungeon Master? Dungeon? The one where it's like you're actually the villain and you're making your base and you add like traps and everything to stop adventures and stuff like that. Deception, I believe, is kind of like that, except it's kind of feels more like Castlevania for the feel. So you have like a castle and like a different spot, and you're setting up traps to take out interlopers, treasure hunters, and everything else like that. So I think that's what the game is similar to. So it's like, so it's kind of like a strategy, like get people to get into bad situations, and then you use traps to dispose of them, either capturing them or kill them. I think that's what that is. It's supposed to have a real... I mean, it's an anime style Koei Tecmo, so... Same with me. I believe that's what it's about, is like... You're trying to use deception to eliminate potential people from entering the castle, I believe. A game that I never beat, and I wish that I had, because I was super excited for this game when it came out. Actually, I still enjoyed it, I just never finished it. We have Deus Ex. Is this Human Revolution? Yeah, Human Revolution. This is one of the prettiest games on the PS3. This is a Square Enix title after they acquired a lot of the Eidos properties. So they got this was the same time where they got Tomb Raider, they got Deus Ex, and they got another series I don't remember. But potential, yes. So automatically, potential. There we go. Go. But I was really interested in this game. I don't even think I made it halfway. There's just so much you could do in that game that I got lost. But the fact that there's so much that you can do in a PlayStation, this was like Cyberpunk 2077 before Cyberpunk 2077. So, next up, we have my only Disgaea game that I own on the PS3. We got Disgaea 3. As we know, eclectic, weird, bizarre strategy game, but really the series is supposed to be really good. I have not played much of it though, so we have Disgaea 3, The Absence of Justice. I think this is the one where you're a demon king's son and you decide to be the hero just so you can fight your father. If I remember correctly. Because only the hero can defeat the demon king, so you want to become the hero just to do that. Disgaea? Yes. It's like, are you questioning me? I already put it as copyright, I'm just gonna show it. I think I still have the apparatus for it, but I don't know where it is. No, it was the SP question mark, and I could just figure you going, what are you even asking this question for? I already have it as copyright. I do enjoy the game. I don't know how I would do on a stream with it, because like chatting and stuff wise, but I have the original. Actually, I should have both of them, right? Yeah, I have DJ Hero 1 and 2. So, I mean, all copyrighted music, so that's going to be a major issue. But that is for that. Next up we have, yeah, for a straight music game like that, it's not worth it. Something like a Rock Band though, like I was discussing earlier, Rock Band I would not mind trying to stream if it was strictly for charity. Like I wanted some one day do the charity jukebox where it's the Rock Band jukebox charity stream where it's like, I want you to play this song for $2. It's like, you got it. And it's like, which instrument and what do you want me to play? It was like, what difficulty do you want me to play on? And then it's like, if I fail, I fail. But it's just still like, okay, we did that. Thank you for the donation and stuff like that. But I would love to do that. DJ Hero's more that niche where it's like, I enjoyed it when it came out, but I don't think I would stream it as much. So there is that. Next up, we have. Actually, I have all 3 games in the series. I just don't have the last one on the PlayStation 3. I have it for the PlayStation 4. I have the Dragon Age series. So I have Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2. So, high fantasy, action RPGs. First one is a little slower because it was originally a PC game, much how Mass Effect 1 is slower than the other 2. Ooh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Let me get some more spaces up here. So go ahead and just pull. I think it's this way, actually. So we got... wait. Out of the way. So we got... Oh, I had it the right way. So we got Dragon Age 1 and Dragon Age 2. So, think similar choice-wise to Mass Effect, because it is a BioWare game, but high fantasy, so instead of sci-fi shooting, it's swordplay, magic, fighting, orcs, trolls, everything else like that. So kind of like how Dragon Dogma came out. There is a new Dragon Age, Wolf Run? I don't remember what it is. There's a new Dragon Age in production. It's coming out before the new Mass Effect is going to be done. I'll put potential, because I've never played these before, but they could be fun. I don't think Hyphen will be interested in these as well, because it's weird. She likes fantasy and stuff like that, because we're playing Baldur's Gate like that, but she's so much of a Mass Effect like truist that she doesn't want to touch other series that are similar. Now for one of the best cult games on the PlayStation 4, or PlayStation 3, excuse me. And I really wish they would remake this for the current consoles. We have Enslaved, Odyssey to the West. If you are not familiar with this game, this is a modern-day retelling of Sun Wukong's journey from the ancient Chinese mythology. You are going through You're going through a post-apocalyptic, but still pretty, U.S., but you have to go from the West Coast and what used to be New York all the way to San Francisco through the entire game. You pick up a... You play as... Literally the main character's name is Monkey. You are a giant of a man that wields a giant staff, so Sun Wukong. Main character is voiced and motion captured by Andy Serkis. And you have a companion that helps you with puzzles and getting past enemies because she is the tech insert. It's really a good game. It's a solid game. Yeah, Andy Serkis plays voices and does the motion capture for the main character. So, like, you know, the greatest motion capture artist of all time is in this game. I'm gonna say potential yes. Next up, we have Fallout 3, which I never made it far in because all these games are are so big in all the different ways. So I never know where to go, and I always get lost, but I still enjoy what I play, but then I get lost, so I end up not playing it anymore. Because I end up in a place where I'm not supposed to be, and then I get manhandled. But, Fallout 3. Fallout 3 and 4, definitely, yes. Fallout 4 will be on PlayStation 4. Do you want to do a current console list? That one, I would probably just merge the PlayStation 4 and 5 games together on one page, and then so many hours in Fallout 3. I do not, but I would not mind playing it. But excuse me. That's actually what I was going to discuss with you. Do you want to do a current gen list where I pull out all my physical games for the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5? Okay, so I'll have to set that up. I'm gonna have to pull those. Thing is, for that one compared to this is I'm gonna have to actually have those like sitting down and then push them to the side so that we can go through them, because there's not as many. Actually, there might be as many as these, but it's between both consoles, the PlayStation 4 and 5 for this. So next up, we have one of the first-person shooter horror games of all time. We have Fear: First Encounter Assault Recon. This was a game that tripped people up at first because it is an action, it is a very heavy action first-person shooter game, but will terrify you if you are not prepared for it. And I have Fear 1 and Fear 2. So I know you're usually on the fence with first-person shooters, so I know, like, if it has an interesting concept, you're yay. If it's just a straight first-person shooter that's kind of blah, then it goes into the no. Drink water. Alright, so if we do that, I need... That's true. I can see that. I'll put his potential. So, middle of the road for both of them. Yeah, Fear, potential. Fear, yeah. Next up, it's probably going to be a yes because we said it for every other one of these series. And I have all three of them for this. I have... Let me move this. It's like in the worst possible spot. I have Final Fantasy 13. Final Fantasy 13 2. And even though it goes by a different name, technically Final Fantasy 13 3. Lightning Returns. I have the complete set. I have beaten 13 and 13 2. 13 2 I actually prefer over 13, and I've never played Lightning Returns yet. Not that much. I think I did like the first mission, and that was it. Final Fantasy equals yes. I'm gonna skip this one. Actually, I'm just gonna say no. It's a workout game. It was when I had the motion, the PlayStation Move and stuff like that, and you could do like different workouts and stuff. But this is literally like set up a 60-minute workout and try to make it through, and it's like, ugh. So that's gonna be a no for a stream. I highly doubt anybody's gonna want to watch me work out for 60 minutes. If you say yes, I'm still gonna say no. Here's the thing, and I think you're gonna agree with me with this because it would be more interesting. If I were to do a workout stream, I would use the Ring Fit on the Switch. Because that one's a lot more interesting, because it plays more like a traditional RPG, but with the workout elements being your attacks. So that's a lot more fun and a lot more interesting, in my opinion. If I were to do a workout stream, I would do the Ring Fit. Granted, I need to start working out more, so that might be a way to help push myself to do it. But as I said, I would do the I would do it on the Ring Fit. I think I could easily set that up, but it would have to be like full room. I don't think I would be able to do it in Hyphen's home because she doesn't like to be on camera if it's not a stream that she's wanting to be in, and I respect it. So that's why we have the screen up and everything else like that. Watch a streamer who does old VHS workout tape. Interesting. I don't know. I mean, it'd be something. I'm gonna put no for now because that's not like a true stream series that I want to do. But if we do end up wanting to try and do like a workout stream, we'll talk about it. We can do. I personally don't want to do. Here's the thing: for the Fit in 6, I don't want to do it on stream. Let me put it that way. It's not entertaining, in my opinion, for that. Because it's a lot of it's just the character on screen doing the workout motions, and you follow it. So it's not like a person it's not like even with the old VHS workouts, it's not like someone pushing you to keep going, or like even if Hyphen and I decided to do a live stream where we tried to do the Blogilates, Cassie Ho, workouts, that would be more preferable in my opinion than to do this game. It's not the fact of maybe a workout stream isn't a bad idea. I just don't think it's good with this one. And once again, it needs the once again, if I can't find the PlayStation 3 camera and controllers, it's not going to work anyway. So that's the other thing with that one. That would probably, out of all the motion control games, that would probably be the one at the bottom of my list. That's why I'm saying that. But if we are interested in having me do a workout stream, we could do Ring Fit. I'll pull up, I'll do some research on some YouTube workouts, and we can try and do. But the Fit in 6 one is just how it's set up. It's just it's kind of boring. So I would rather have something that's a little more animated, a little more fun for everyone, than just because I also stopped doing it. I also stopped doing the workouts on it because I was getting bored, or they were not for me. It also, remember how I said it was a 60-minute workout? That was the warm-up. Some of those were warm-ups for workouts. So it was for people. The Fit in 6 was more for people who were had time to do heavy duty 1, 2, 3 hour workouts, and it was not for me type situation. I wouldn't mind doing something like the Fit and not the Ring Fit, where I could do for half an hour to an hour. Yeah. I know you were just teasing, but I don't mind the idea of a workout stream though. It just has to be the right thing. But carrying on. Can't imagine doing workouts on. Well, that's why I was saying the Ring Fit would be the best potential one, because you would be playing the game and doing the actions of the game. You'd just be doing workout exercises in it, and that could be a thing where it's I could have a redeem on the channel where it's do a 15-minute redeem, do a 15-minute workout, and I have the Ring Fit set up on the side so that we can do a workout real quick or something. So do a stage on the Ring Fit type situation, but that'll be later down the road when I can have multiple things set up at the same time. Because right now I would have to switch everything around, which might cause mayhem. But mayhem's fun as well sometimes. Next up, we have, it's the next game in the series that I told you I really liked. They changed the gameplay in this one though. This is Front Mission Evolved. So same universe as the front mission games. Convenient but brutal. Very true. So it's the same world as the other front mission games that we both said we were interested in. The front mission 3. Yes, so the front mission 3 and front mission 4 are Final Fantasy Tactics isometrics gameplay. So like the over the top, you choose characters where to go, and you do like strategy fights and stuff like that. This turned it into a third person Armored Core clone. It's still well done, but it's not the same type of game. So you're actually moving your mech back and forth. So it's fun. It is fun. I was really super excited for this. I bought the collector's edition when this came out. I'm trying to remember. Mech sequel, yes. You are very easy to satisfy. With that, let me rephrase that. You're very easy to satisfy with that. Let me rephrase that. I don't want to be degrading or anything when I say that. I know you wouldn't have said that anyway, but still, said I was, but it's like big stumpy. You know, you can have robots. You can also have ones that have like little hover things on instead of legs. So instead of being stopping, you just like, across the map and run into people and stuff like that. Yeah. Next up, we have the original God of War saga. It comes in a few discs. Whoa, what the hell happened there? Oh, it's because I'm blocking the ring light. Okay, like the whole background changed, and it was actually because the game blocked. Like, watch my background. I just noticed that. That's trippy. So we have the original God of War series. So the ones from the PlayStation 2 era that had been the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3 era that have been remastered. The saga also gives me access to the Chains of Olympus and Ghost of Sparta games. Those only came digital though, so they are on my PlayStation 3, but they're hardbound on the PlayStation 3. So I have God of War 1, 2, and 3 on discs, and then the other two... I have not platted them, so that is something I could probably do. I'm going to put potential yes. Games that I keep buying because they're supposed to be like the games you're supposed to have. I know, because of the time trials and stuff like that. Some of those are impossible, almost impossible. I've never been big into the series. I think the gameplay is good, but I don't actually get into them a lot. But I have Grand Theft Auto 4. This was one of the only ones that really interested me because I felt the character story was a lot more interesting in this one because it's a person who's trying to find redemption for actions he did in his past in his home country and trying to make a better life for himself and his family in what is technically New York. What is it, Liberty City? I think it's Liberty City in the Grand Theft Auto world. But I've never been into the games that much because I don't know. I'm also the weird person, for playing Grand Theft Auto, and I try to follow the rules as much as possible. So I stop at red lights, I make the right turns, I try not to run anybody over type situation. But it really depends on how I'm feeling. But for story-wise, I heard this is one of the better ones in terms of like character growth, character development. Yeah, it's weird. Like it's like the game that's like, this is the greatest game of all time, and I'm like, why? Like, I think I would be more interested in the Red Dead Redemption series sometimes over Grand Theft Auto, just because I kind of feel like I would get attached more to the Western, like, frontier design than current modern day. So, I actually don't own any of the Red Dead Redemptions. I think I lent my brother the first one, and then he moved. I think he still has I'm hoping he still has the copy. He actually has a copy of another game that I need to discuss with him, because he just moved back into Orlando. He may have my copy of Parasite Eve 2, so I need to discuss that with him, or Parasite Eve 1. Whichever one I don't have in the collection currently, he has the other one. So I'm going to say potential no on Grand Theft Auto. It's just not my cup of tea. Okay. This one, I have this. I have the disc for this, but I actually have all the games on Steam as well, so I could actually just stream these easier through that. I have the orange box, so this is Half-Life, Team Fortress, and Portal. I have, as I said, I have all the games on here, but I also have them all on my PC as well. So, um, we could say yay to Half-Life 2, Half-Life episode, Half-Life 2 episode. Yeah, so Portal's on there. So we're gonna go ahead and say yes, and then we'll work through those games, which will be a fun little series, I think, because we could do Portal, Portal 2, Half-Life 2. I think I have the first Half-Life as well, too, on there. So, actually, I don't own the second half of this, I just realized. I have Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. This is based off more off the movie than the book. Half-Life 1 and Half-Life 2 is one of the best games from what I can tell for cinematic indirect cinematic storytelling. So like you learn the world and what's going on just by observing, and you figure out what the characters like, dislike, and everything else by how they treat you type situation. Um, it is considered one of the most important game series of all time, and I still have not played it. So also you get the yeah, I mean I was more into the franchise when I was younger. You've heard, I'm pretty sure you've heard Hyphen's stance on the series lately. I do want to play the new one, eventually, the one that just came out, the Hogwarts Legacy. I refuse to buy it new, though. So, I don't want any potential, I'm going to say potential no. This is also one of the worst ones in that series for the movie-based ones. Next up, we have Heavenly Sword. Very, very stylized hack and slash adventure game done by Ninja Theory before they were bought out by Microsoft. But I never beat this one. I thought it was really pretty though. Has great bosses, has great combat. Heavenly Sword is yes. Going off of Ninja Theory, I do have Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice on the PlayStation, well, PlayStation 4 or 5, because I could probably download it. Would you be interested in that? Oops, nope, that's just straight. Yes. Would you be interested in that one? Because I do have access to that one, but it's a digital copy. Next up, we have Heavy Rain. So, the game that really put Quantic Dream on the map, because they had already done, we talked about it last time, they did the Indigo Prophecy or Fahrenheit, was it 9/11? Fahrenheit? Heavy Rain is yes. I've actually never beaten this. I keep getting stuck on a certain spot, so that'd be fun. Now we're starting to get into some of the, like, yes. We have Hitman Absolution. This is a later game in the series, and it was actually one of the ones that allowed you to replay stages to try different methods, get more points, so to speak. So it kind of added an arcadey factor to this series, which actually was what made people more interested in the series. Well, wrong way. And then opened up for the Hitman World games that have been coming out recently, because the newer Hitmans, you have an objective where it's like kill this person type situation, and then you look at it and if you've seen the new Hitmans, it's like here's your objective, and then there's like 8 or 9 different blocks underneath your objective, and it's each way you can kill your target. So then you kind of want to go back and it's like, okay, so how do I get this one? And it gives you the main one, and it tells you exactly how to do it. Then the other one comes up, it's like, this is what you should be trying to do. So I kind of like what they were doing, and I think this is the first one that did that. Well, this is going to be an automatic one. We've already beaten the second half together. So I have Eco and Shadow of the Colossus. For this disc, it would primarily be Eco. Because if we want to do Shadow of the Colossus again, we'll just pull it up on the PlayStation 5. But I've never beaten Eco before. I also don't own I've never played The Last Guardian, so that's another thing to look into. I do have a copy of that as well. So If we do it off this disc, it would be Eco. So Eco's yes. I had a feeling. Anything from Team Eco you absolutely adore. Next up, we have the Infamous series, the original one with Cole McGrath. So we have Infamous 1, and then down here we have Infamous 2. One of the biggest games, Last Guardian also, yes. This was one of the first games to implement like heavy choices for, say, good and evil that would affect you. This lets you play as, have a superhero power trip, but you can play as a superhero or a villain type situation. So, be a benefit to mankind or be greedy and just malicious. So yeah, we have Infamous was a good game. I did too. So we do want potential yes on both. Okay. Next up we have. Technically, I have this on the PS4, so I don't need to really have this on the list. But we have Journey, and technically I have Flower and what was the other one? Flow, I think. So this is the collection from this developer that had all their 3 main games, plus about like 6 or 7 minor games from their collection. So if we're interested in the other 2, we'll have that. We can have this on here. We'll still say yes for Journey, and then I can pull it up. Journey plus equals yee. Yee! That's a yes. Alright. Next up, we have a super stylized third-person shooter with Killer is Dead. Just look at that artwork. Time permitting, obviously. Yeah, that's very true. Those seem like good single stream. For Flower and Flow, I don't know if they have an ending. So yeah, that would be like a nice relaxing chill. We kind of figure out how the game works and together and stuff like that. So, but we have Killer is Dead. Super stylized, cel-shaded action hack and slash. I've played a little bit of this. It was very intriguing. I don't know exactly how to explain it, but I think it's a sequel to Killer 7, if I remember correctly. Flower you could beat in one stream. No, but that's a good thing to do. So I mean, like, go ahead. I might get some more drinks actually while you're doing that myself. Okay, so. Alright, I just got back with more water as well, so we're... Alright, so there we go. Alright, so next up... Alright, so Mentioned it for a split second before. Next up is Killer is Dead. Highly stylized action game. I played this on a videos from the vault a long time ago. Hold up. If you are curious. Here we go. Gauntlet, Song of the Deep. What is that one? The Deadly Tower of Monsters. Oh, here we go. Share. Copy link. Go to Discord. Right, yeah, give me 1 second for that. So let's do. We'll do it in here. If you want to look at Killer is Dead, I posted in the clips and highlight page a video of my video from the Vault series. And if you click on that, it would actually probably take you to the playlist if you're interested. So, but I really enjoyed what I played from the game. It was like super stylized and everything else like that, as I was saying. But personally for me, for some of the other games that are on this list, I'm probably gonna say potential yes. And excuse my voice from that video. That was still when I was learning to talk how I wanted to talk in these. Yeah, potentially yes. Next up, we have what was supposed to be the Halo killer for the franchise. We had the first one on the PlayStation 2. We have Killzone 2, expanding on the story. I don't think I own. No, I don't own. There was a Killzone 3, and then there was one on. There was Shadow Limit or something. I don't remember the one for the PlayStation 4, but potential. Eh. If it's this, it's down middle of the road, so that's potential. Next up is a game I don't know if I'm going to be able to stream, because once again, I don't know if I have the right peripherals for it anymore. We have Kung Fu Rider. This was a game that was also for the PlayStation Move. You are a regular, everyday Japanese citizen trying to escape the Yakuza. But in order to escape the Yakuza, you use whatever form of transportation you can find, which is usually office chairs, little rolling carts, and everything else like that. And you would move with the motion controls in order to get away from the enemies and stuff like that. It was campy, but I really thought it was fun when I played it. But it's so over the top, and I don't know how. As I said, I don't know if I still have the peripherals. That's the main issue with like any of these PlayStation Move games, because it's so old now that I don't know A, if the peripheral is gonna work, or B, if I still have them, because it could have been something where I sold them because it's like, I'm not gonna touch these again. It's like, then on my head it's like, so why did I keep the games? But yeah, so next up, so that was Kung Fu Rider. Oh wow, it really actually brings everything in focus once the lighting changes. That's cool. But it's campy. You use, yeah, like you can see if you look up at the logo, it's Kung Fu Rider with a flaming office chair. So once again, it's no, because of the peripherals. Okay. There's gonna be a few more of those, like even though I really enjoyed the games. Now for a game that I swore like I only knew about, and then it popped up on someone's TikTok the other day, and I was like, it's like, wow, so someone else has actually found this game. It's called Legendary. Um, It is a okay. It starts out as a museum heist game where you're breaking into the Natural History Museum in New York City. You mess with something that you should not have, and then you unleash the forces of the unknown into New York. Um, it's actually kind of cool with the amount of let me put it this way for Legendary, and I was super excited when I found it. I got it in a budget bin game. It's an amazing concept, and the amount of mythical creatures they have on it, because there's griffins, there's golems, there's imps, there's a bunch of all these things. The gameplay is a little lacking because it's a straightforward first-person shooter, but with like stealth or like trying to run away mechanics. But the concept is amazing and interesting. The gameplay is lacking, so it's kind of like where they were trying to not they didn't balance what they needed to balance. I'm trying to like I don't like the hand thing. I'm noticing with the hand gestures when I'm talking about some of these games, but it's like I kind of have to like mentally get things running sometimes. Like the encounters with the monsters are amazing, but I wish the game moved a little better. So potential yes, because the concept is amazing. It could also, as we discussed, it could be where we try it. We have it as potential yes. We try it, and all of a sudden it's like, can I get a slash, please? Thank you. We try it. We say, this was cool, but I don't need to do anymore. So like, we don't have to do full series of everything. So like potential get like if it's a yes, then obviously is going to be like we're going to try and do our best to get through the whole thing. But if it's a potential yes, that could be like yeah, we want to play it, but we just kind of want to see it and see how it goes. But that one, as I said, that one has a great concept. The creatures that they bring in are really amazing. I think they bring in some more eclectic creatures from like other like pantheons and lore and stuff like that. That's just part of the challenge, though. Also, remember, these are only my physical games as well. I have more on my actual PS3 itself, so if you need me to make a list for that, I'm actually going to have to take my computer to the back and then go through the game list on that. We have the first mature-rated Lord of the Rings game. Lord of the Rings, War of the North. This is a hack and slash. I don't even know if it's I think it's an RPG. So reminiscent to like a Diablo type, where you kill things and you get better gear and everything else. But this was the first Lord of the Rings game that was given permission to use the mature rating. So you can decapitate enemies, you can take legs off, you can do other things like that. It is possible to do co-op multiplayer. I think only 2 players though. The story is interesting because it is simultaneously taking place during Fellowship of the Ring and at least the Two Towers. And you're playing as 3 lesser-known heroes trying to stall an enemy group from the north in order to come onto the battlefield. Next up, we have Lost Planet 2. Is this Capcom? I think, in a way, to explain this, if you haven't seen this, this is Monster Hunter in space, is I think the best way to classify this game, as best as that I know about, because I haven't played a lot of it. Lost Planet is a yes. Okay. If it's just thumbs up, it's a yes. I don't own the sequel, and I'm ashamed of it, because I actually really want to play the entire series. I have Marvel Ultimate Alliance. This is the same vein as that X-Men game from the PlayStation 2. This is literally, you have a catalog of about 30 to 40 different Marvel heroes. You can team them up however you want. Doing certain teams together gives you attack, defense, or elemental bonuses, which is kind of cool. And you progress through 4 chapter campaigns in the game, fighting an eclectic group of different villains, all trying to take over the world or do different things. But you have everyone in here from Wolverine to Spider-Man all the way down to Blade and Moon Knight that can join your team. It's not as big as a cast as the second one, which I have not played the second one because the second one is based off of the Marvel Civil War. This is just Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2. I don't have 2. I only have the first one, unfortunately. So we'll say potential. Not as big of a hit as the X-Men games, in my opinion. The X-Men ones were a lot better, which we both agreed on, because the X-Men ones were like an instant. I showed you and you said instantly yes last week. The last Marvel game before the last Marvel vs. Capcom before they kind of shat the bed. We got Marvel vs. Capcom 3. This was the last one they made before they went MCU hopping, chasing. So this was the last one that had more of the eclectic group of Marvel characters instead of just following Tony Stark, the Guardians, and everything else like that. I think this one still has some X-Men in it and maybe some Fantastic Four characters. I don't remember if I don't remember playing this one. Or is this the first one that just followed the MCU? I don't remember off the top of my head. But classic fighting game. Choose between. I own MVC3, and the only reason I do is because amateurs. That's awesome, though. Alright, so much like what we've been saying with fighting games, this is a potential yes. Skipping the next two because we've actually already played these on the channel. Because we have the remastered set. It was Mass Effect, but we already played those. So next up on the list, not with those, we have Max Payne 3. I've never touched this one because I actually never beat Max Payne 2 and I wanted to play in order. You know how I am. More of a gritty take. This is also the first one primarily developed by... Oh no, this is the first one only developed by Rockstar. That's why I said... well, I was mentioning in Alan Wake how there was... Yeah, Max Payne series we were interested in. Also, I don't know if it's 100% going, but Remedy might be trying to acquire the rights to Max Payne again and remaking 1 and 2 at least with their new engine. So like how like Alan Wake looks, they're trying to remake with Max Payne, from what I heard. But this is the first one that was completely owned and created by Rockstar. Which is the reason why I mentioned how in Alan Wake, Alex Casey shows up and it's like, this is the story of Max Payne. Why isn't it just Max Payne? Remedy doesn't have the rights to Max Payne anymore because they sold it. So, next up, I actually don't know much about this one. Unfortunately, it was my favorite first-person shooter series on the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2. But then they decided to follow Call of Duty. This is Medal of Honor. They jumped to modern day. Why is it a single game and it's T through M? I just noticed that. Why is there a difference? So I guess there might be an option where you can make it more violent or something, I guess, but I just looked at that. I was like, why is it T or M? But yeah, I don't know. I just know that this is the first one where Medal of Honor jumped to modern day. I actually haven't played this one. Yeah, that one, I'm in agreement with that one. It's potential for a stream. If we decide to like go through, if I do like one of my like this or that, and it's like Call of Duty versus Modern Medal of Honor or Call of Duty versus Battlefield or one of those mishmashes, and Medal of Honor wins, I'll play it. But other than that, I'm probably going to play like Battlefield or Call of Duty PlayStation 2 games before this. So I'll say potential. Now for another game that unfortunately it's going to be the same way as Kung Fu Rider. We have Medieval Moves, Deadman's Quest. I actually adore this game so much. It is so campy and funny. But the issue, it's the PlayStation Move again. So once again, it's going to be the peripheral issue. So I'm going to put this one even over Kung Fu Rider as potential no. Because if I can find the peripherals and get them to work, then I would love to play that one. But it's the same issue with Kung Fu Rider where it's like, we have to have the peripherals to play. You can't just play that game with a controller. You have to have the motion controller for the PlayStation. Ooh, boy, a lot of talking. Let's see. Next up, we're actually making good progress. We might be able to finish this in one go. I know how you feel about this series, so it's probably going to be a no for possibly the next two. We have Metal Gear Solid 4, The Guns of the Patriots. This is the one that takes place 20 years after Metal Gear Solid 2. Solid Snake is an old man now because something has happened. Wait, is it actually 20 years, or is it just his body's deteriorating faster? I don't remember. It's some sort of issue with Snake himself, I think, actually, that causes him to age. But, yeah, it's Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriot. I actually don't think I've ever touched this one. Like, never played a demo of it, never done anything with it. Yeah, I know how you feel about... That's what I was like... Now, the next one could be a little different, even though it is part of the Metal Gear series. Next one is Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. This is done by Platinum Games. It would be Konami and Platinum. I thought Platinum worked on this. But this is Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. This is, I believe this was made by, in cooperation with Platinum Games, so the same people that do Bayonetta, Vanquish, and everything else like that. So it's not stealth-based at all. It is more about high-speed action. A lot of visceral style attacks, so like you can use your cybernetic ninja sword to cut people in half and stuff like that, or cut things in half in order to get to where you need to. It's a good game from what I've heard. I haven't played it yet myself, so is it same vein, or would you be more interested in this one since it's not based off of like the more stealthy gameplay of the others? So is that going to lean more towards potential yes then? You also don't play as Snake, so it's the same character that you play in Metal Gear Solid 2, primarily, because that game flipped the script on everybody. You have me at Cybernetic Ninja Sword. Alright, so potential... You have a thing for robots, I've noticed. No, yes. There we go. Next up. Game that I really enjoyed. I did beat this one. We have Mirror's Edge. This was one of the primary games to start the first-person parkour platforming mechanics. In my opinion, it has a solid story. It kind of fits together really nicely. Gameplay is a little... Mirror's Edge's potential, yeah. I love how you have a new code system for rating these. I'm gonna skip that one. I skipped the football game. I have a college football game. I think it was actually the last college football game that was published before the whole fiasco with college players not being allowed to be on video games because in reference their likenesses being used without their consent type situation. So next up, and I haven't really played this one, we have Ninja Gaiden 3. Which I've never played the first two because those were only on Xbox, if I remember correctly, when this was first released. They might have released them later on, I'll have to see about that, but I know like these games are brutally hard. But they're also supposed to be very fun, and also I've beaten all the Souls games, so I mean, if it's just like a patience thing and having to learn the combat system, then I mean, why not try and learn that? So... That is actually very, very true. We could actually do the original Ninja Gaiden because they have that on the Nintendo Switch emulator for Nintendo. That's a yes. Next two games I'm going to put as potential yes because we've already been discussing these situations in the Tentinalia. But the next two are Persona 4 Arena and then Arena Ultimax. I'll only pull out one of them. So these are high-speed action games produced by Atlas and Axis. So the same people who do BlazBlue did these games as well, but it's with the Persona 4 cast and a few original characters as well as characters from Persona 3. Persona 4 Ultimax added 3 original characters and then even more characters to fight with from Persona 3 and 4. I've only played a little bit of them, but I mean, they're fun. They're really high speed. I actually really like for a lot of fighting games, if I'm playing on my own, one of the things I love to do is trying to go through all the training modes and actually learn all the character combos. Just because I'm a nerd like that. And some of the combos on this, I'm just like, this is impossible! But I still try and do it anyway, just because I'm a glutton for punishment. Ugh. So, I already put them as potential yes, because we were talking about the fighting game streams, where we, like, have, like, we have, like, a day set in the month where we choose a fighting game, and we're gonna check it out and play it on stream for a little bit, see how people react to it. Once again, I'll have to pull out the PlayStation 3 if we're going to do any of these, but I mean, that's for any of these titles, so... Oh man, my eyes are watering. I might be getting an allergic reaction to something like pollen, because all of a sudden my eyes started watering. Since I already put his potential yes, I'm going to go ahead and move on, but I think you agree with me because of the fighting game stuff. Next up, we have Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. This is a action-adventure game based off the third movie. I don't remember how far it goes, or if it has content that's before or after that movie. I think it has scenes from Dead Man's Chest, but I'm trying to remember. I think this one might be copyright because can't remember if it has scenes from the actual movie. This is the only one that I can think of that has scenes from the actual movie. Yeah, so I was just thinking that as I was talking. You are absolutely right. Next up, we have the Super Smash Bros. Clone, but I love this game. PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. As I said, kind of a Super Smash Bros. Clone, but I loved going around beating up people as Drake, as Sly, as Ratchet. My only sad part about these games is they didn't have the classics. So there was no Crash and there was no Spyro because it was owned by Activision instead of Sony now, instead of a Sony dependent company. So they weren't on here as much. But like the amount of characters they had in this from the beginning, and then they added some DLC characters as well. Yeah, so we'll say potential yes. And it's super silly in a way too, so that's something that I think would appeal to some people. I think it's online too. It's at the stuff is still up. I think it's online. We already said yes to this, but I'll pull it up anyway because we said it with the orange box. We have Portal 2. This one is not included in the orange box. The first Portal is. So we have Portal 2. So yep, you can beat up people as Sackboy. Portal 2, we're going to go ahead and just say yes because I saw your very, very adamant yes to Portal in the orange box. No, it is an amazing game though. I can't deny that. I've never done the multiplayer for Portal 2 with the co-op. Hyphen's a little concerned about being able to do it and help out, so she was always a little fishy about it. But I do love the single player for Portal 2. And I'd have it both here and I have it on Steam as well. So we could always figure out something for potentially doing a co-op together. Multiplayer is challenging but fun, of course. Next up, we have the Prince of Persia series. This is the remastered of the PlayStation 2 one, so this is Sands of Time, Warrior Within, and Forgotten King or something like that. I forgot. The Fallen King. I don't remember, but this is the remake where he went from being Prince of Persia, middle of the road. Okay. I can agree potential with this one, with that specific one. This one I never beat, but I wanted to. It's another Prince of Persia game, but it's more of a campy style prince. He's not, I don't even actually know if he's a prince, but they just had the same gameplay. This is probably one of my favorite Heroes, because he's just a person that gets involved with it for no reason. But it's Nolan North getting caught up in a adventure again. Um, but just going through. This one has some of the best parkour and platforming elements that I've seen, and then you also get a sassy female companion that uses magic, and she assists you in combat and the platforming elements. So it's actually very, very well done in that. But if it's still Prince of Persia and that's the meh with the arms up, then I'll still put potential. Unless you want to raise that one to potential, yes, but we'll come back to that after. So next up, Prince of Persia 2. Okay, potential, yes. Alright, so we'll go back here. Next up, we have another Bethesda project that kind of panned out but didn't pan out because it did get a sequel. We have the original Rage. So this was a kind of very Fallout-ish style game, but first more action-based than exploration. Very similar though, because it's like you're start in a underground bunker that you're trying to rage its potential. I could see that. But it's not bad. I played a little bit of it. There's a lot of the trying to move around in too many spaces type situation. The next 4 I'm gonna guarantee are gonna be yes for you, just because I know how you feel about the series. We are in R, second letter's A. We have the Ratchet and Clank collection, and then I have additional games as well. So we have Ratchet and Clank. This is Ratchet and Clank, Up Your Arsenal, and no, Going Commando and Up Your Arsenal in that order. Yeah, that's what I was figuring. So we have, I'm just gonna pull them out and show them. So we have Ratchet and Clank collection. We have Tools of Destruction. It's like all the yeses. A Crack in Time. These I have beaten, except for the next one, because the next one was supposed to be multiplayer. They were trying to focus on multiplayer, so I don't think I played it, because I don't know if you can play the single player, but All for One. If this is one where you need a second player, I might see if Hyphen is interesting. No, it's a cool series. I've heard about it and everything. Right, Ratchet. So I take it this is one of your favorite series of all time. So I'm happy with that. And I do have more Ratchet and Clanks on the PlayStation 4 and 5. And also, if I just found it interesting, we're going from one Insomniac series to another Insomniac series. This one might pique your interest. I know you're on the fence about like first-person shooters and stuff, though. But this is actually one of my favorite shooters. This is also one of the first games on the PlayStation 3. I just realized. But we have Resistance: Fall of Man, and then I have Resistance 2 and 3. Resistance 1 I beat, 2 I did not, 3 I never touched. Because once again, I don't play games out of order. But this is a alternate history World War II game where, if you're not familiar with the game, anyway, I should say this. It's a alternate history World War II game where an alien race lands in Siberia and starts taking over the planet from the northern side and everything else, and then it gets mixed up, and then you have humans versus the aliens instead of the... I played and platted Res 1 and 2, I quit after 2. Okay. Well, with the ending of 2, I know about the ending of 2, so I can understand why. Resistance 3 is supposed to be very interesting, though. Would you want to watch me play, or is it kind of a potential or potential yes? Because I'm fine either way. Ooh, we're actually almost done. Can you not play the single player at all? Because I don't care about multiplayer. That's the thing. Like if the servers counted for playing the single player, that's really dumb. Yeah, I don't want to play. I don't want to play multiplayer with these. I only want to play the single. Like if I'm doing a game like this, I'm only counting the single player campaign. I don't care about. It's much the same way with the Ghostbusters game. Um, like the Ghostbusters the video game. I love the single player. I actually love the multiplayer from the Ghostbusters video game. The I platinumed Ghostbusters. I got every single trophy you get in the single player campaign. But I just couldn't find enough people to play online with, and that was a shame because the Ghostbusters video game had a great multiplayer. It was co-op, but you kind of had to be a little aggressive compared to your teammates because you kind of had to do a little better. But it wasn't the game that everyone. Well, no, if I can't platinum the game, it's fine. I'll try my best to get all the single player trophies, which that's fine. But are you interested in watching me play the Resistance series, or would that just be something that's a potential since you've already gone through it? Because I have beaten 1, I never beat 2, and as I said, I haven't touched 3. So this is more for like just entertainment through a campaign. Unless somebody wants to play a multiplayer game with me, that's for that. So Resistance is potential no. Okay. I'm just gonna do this. There we go. Okay. Next up, I skipped the next 3 games because they're all copyright. It's Rock Band. So, Rock Band 3, and Rock Band Beatles I skipped because we already know they're going to be copyright. But it is what I was discussing. I do want to potentially look into discussing with Twitch using it for charity streams, where anything that is provided to me will go to the charity. So people, I had to make the promise, anybody that subscribes, sends me bits or anything, I had to take that money out and send it to it as send it to a charity as well. Or I can set it up so that the money that you would give to me, I just the money you would send to me, I would just have you use that money and put it into the link towards a donation anyway. But for just doing a straight stream, Rock Band will be out for copyright reasons, obviously. But I would love to showcase like my Rock Band guitar skills or singing on stream and stuff like that. I could still sing on stream. I just can't use licensed music in the background. So next up we have The Saboteur. Is this Pandemic? Oh wow, this is one of Pandemic's last games, I think, before they closed. This is The Saboteur. This is a... Actually, if I can say it, I can say it. It's an Assassin's Creed clone based in World War II France, where you are a member of the French Resistance, trying to take down the Nazi regime from the inside the city. And it's interesting because it has a art style where if it's an area that is not taken over, where if it's an area that's what's the word I'm looking for? I'm blanking on the word. If it's an area that has been taken back from the Nazis, you have color, like you can see everything. But if it's an area that's being occupied by the Nazis, it's very reminiscent to is it Schindler's List? Like Sin City, Schindler's List. I had to remember to take a certain code off of this though, because there's a controversy with the DLC for the club scene, so to speak. It allowed you to make the woman or not. It was a controversial DLC because it literally was just like a patch that they could have done. But it's an interesting concept. The beginning of the game, one sequence of the game is very brutal because you witness actually I'm not going to spoil it. If we are interested in playing it, I'm not going to spoil it. Next one, I'm actually going to skip the next one. Just say no. I'll show it, but it's The Shoot. It's another PlayStation Move game. Stream with warnings. Got it. Yeah. There's some potential other games on the PlayStation 4. I would have to put some warnings and stuff in for like potential like suicide imagery and other things like that with other games. I've actually done that on one of my YouTube videos where it's like in my actual description of the game, it's like, please, if you do not want to witness suicide or anything like that, please skip from this time frame to this time frame. I actually had to research what the time was before I wrote it down because it was like I showed Hyphen and she was disturbed, but she was like, I can understand what happened in the game with it, but I'm still disturbed by it. So I do make warnings in my games if I know something's coming up. If I don't know something's coming up, I'm sorry. But yeah, the last game was The Shoot. It's a PlayStation Move game where it's different movie scenes and you have to shoot. So it's like you're in a Western, you're in a gangster shootout, you're in an alien invasion type game, and it's like you get points and everything else like that. You upgrade things, blah, 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 blah. Once again, it's based more on the peripherals issue that I have, and also it's not my favorite game off the Move. Like, I think for the PlayStation Move, it was Deadman's Quest, and there's one other game coming up that I would be interested in playing. But otherwise, the shoe can be out. This is another. The next game coming up is another one that I did for videos from the Vault, and it's another. Actually, it's not even alternative history. It's time travel. It's called Singularity. This is a first-person shooter where you are a special ops group checking out a debunk research facility off of the coast of Russia? I don't remember. I think it's Russia. Where it turns out they were doing experiments with different, like, mutations, alterations, feeding children, like, certain elements to try and make them into super soldiers, and it went wrong type situation, but the situation goes awry when something happens and you're sent back to the past, and then you end up saving like a lead researcher or head of development from falling to his death type situation, and butterfly effect, you save this one person, everything changes in the future. So like, I can't remember if the facility is fully running when you go back, or if it's like things just change and like the world is different outside, but it's definitely like a point-to-point time travel shenanigans. I don't even know how to really word it, but as I said, I did do a videos from the Vault of this one. I did enjoy it. From what I played, I never went farther into it because the video of the Vault series was I played one episode, saw how I liked it. If I wanted to go back to it later, I would. A lot of them I definitely would go back to just because they were fun in different ways. But what do you think? Time travel, first-person shooter, time travel, monsters. What do you think? Potential, yes. I will say this has made this a lot easier with your little coding for potential yes and no. Next up, actually a series that Hyphen really likes that we have played together for fun, but we've never streamed. Sly Cooper. I have the collection. This has 1, 2, and 3. Really enjoyable games. I love the acting in this game. The platformings are the platforming elements are great. Oh, 2 and 3's platforming elements are great. 1 is a little brinky, but I mean it's the first one. Sly equals yes. I mean, any of the classic. Am I wrong in saying that any of the classic like mascot style games are going to be automatic yeses? So like Ratchet and Clank, Sly Cooper, Jack and Daxter, all those are yes because they're all wonderfully made. They're all heavy nostalgia. Ooh, breathing. Okay, this where I was saying there's 2 games for the PlayStation Move that I'm putting a little bit higher than the other ones because the other ones are just no, because I don't know if I even still have the peripherals anymore or if the peripherals even work. But this would be the other one that I would play. This is Sorcery. This is a PlayStation Move game where it actually used the there are 2 different peripherals for the PlayStation Move, much like the Wii, where you had a peripheral that allowed you to use the joystick instead of the just the motion controller. But this one allowed you to actually have like wizard battles on the screen with the other move controller. So it was actually a lot of fun. I didn't get far in it, but I did enjoy it. Hyphen was really actually Hyphen bought it for me, if I remember correctly. That was one of my birthday presents for when we were still dating, because that came out way before we were married. When did this come out? Yeah, we got married in 2014. This is from 2012, so we were in our second year. Yeah, so I'm gonna put his potential no. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're agreeing. I'm gonna put his potential no because I don't have the peripherals for it. Next one is I'll show up. I'm gonna just go ahead and say no, just because same vein. It's the PlayStation Move Sports Champions. So this was kind of like their response to Wii Sports for their peripherals. They actually have some really fun games on here, but I mean, I don't have the peripherals. It's not the most exciting game. It was fun to do in a party setting, I will say that. Like, everybody took turns and everything. But I don't think it's going to be transfer over as well as some other games would with the PlayStation Move. I don't think it's gonna be as entertaining. Yeah. Next up, we have... Really? Sir? You have to kick everything off the counter? Next up, we have Stranglehold. This is based off of a John Woo movie. This also uses implements from like Max Payne, like the bullet time, like heavy diving, dodging type stuff. So very stylized, very I guess Hong Kong. I don't even know if if it's Chinese anymore, because I think he's Hong Kong police for John Woo. But very stylized action shooter. Hold on a second. I'm gonna pick something up really quick while you make a decision. No, that wasn't mail. That was punch the cards off the counter. I don't even think. Potential. I kind of was feeling that. Yeah. Yeah, we don't have any of the we don't have any of like the drum hit or waka wakas anymore. I think Hyphen was just getting fed up with trying to do them, and you guys started like overflowing the streams with puns and stuff, so she couldn't keep up with it. Next up, yeah, we're getting pretty close to being done. We had the first one in the PlayStation 2 games. This is Stuntman Ignition. It's the sequel to Stuntman. This one was both more lenient and more difficult at the same time, because you didn't have to do every single trick in one run if you had issues. The issue was, hey Nostromo, welcome in. We were just chatting about nostalgia and PlayStation 3 games. So Stuntman Ignition was same thing. You play as a movie stuntman going through different scenes. You had stuff that was, I'm trying to remember some of the movies. You had a Dante's Peak clone. You had a Dukes of Hazzard clone type, because it's like an alternate universe. So I'm saying clone meaning like it's their main movie in their universe, but it's in that there was a like Fast and the Furious style clone and everything else like that. But you had to, you could mess up on a stunt and not fail like you could in the first one. But in order to get a really good score, not only did you have to do all the stunts in one run, but you had to link all the stunts by doing drifts, by doing jumps, by doing near misses type situations. So it kind of felt like say what do I want to say? It kind of felt like the original Stuntman, but mixed with Burnout, which I kind of appreciated, actually. Oh yeah, so we're ranking the games based off of, do you think they would be fun to stream, fun to kind of like potential. You were mentioning before that it sounded potential because it's like you don't know if I could like chat and play at the same time. So uh what's up? Oh, she might have got freaked out when the thing fell off the counter because it made it like a loud plopping sound. Yeah, so we're just like talking about like different games and everything. So this is just for like ideas for future streams instead of just playing the games I currently am able to um it's based off of like how I describe a game. It's like whether it's like I want to watch this, or if they know the game series. Like I brought up Ratchet and Clank, and literally my stream feed from Fen was just like yes, hearts, and then all of a sudden like it was like no, it's a great game. I didn't most definitely didn't name my cat after the main character type situation. Or if it's like we had a game on the PlayStation 2 is Dropship Freedom Force or something like that, and I said I know nothing about this game. It was like meh, but um if it's a game that sounds interesting to you, you can always chime in. There will be some things that we've already decided we're going to put into a potential yes stream for, like, say, fighting games or something like that. We're going to put in as a potential yes because I might start doing a fighting game tutorial or fighting game just like play through the campaign style stuff. But yeah, so we're just talking about some of my old games. If you want to check out I have three other videos from the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 games, and I might do a potential for my PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 games linked into one stream because um, they kind of count as the same because I can play them on the same platform. Like the PlayStation 1, 2, and 3, I have different consoles for each, but the 4 and 5, I can play most of those games together. So, next up, we have Tales of Symphonia. It's the remastered edition. So I've never actually beaten this game on my own. My friend had a original version back on the GameCube, and we were playing a crap ton of that. And we were like trying out which characters fit us the most. They gave me the mage for a long time until they realized I was actually better with the guy who's strictly kicking and everything else like that. I figured for you, yes, because you are the epitome of JRPGs. Next up, it's going to be potential yes, but we have Tekken Tag Tournament 2. Love the Tekken series, as people... Oh yeah, well, RPGs are great. Actually, I was watching somebody on TikTok, and they were saying, like, 2023 and 2024 like the resurgence of JRPGs because they were off the market for such a long time that did well anyway. So... Potential yes. Skipping Tiger Woods. I don't know if people want to watch me play a golf game, so. The ports help, Star Ocean, etc. That is very true. Do I have two? No, I don't. So next up we have Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Vegas. It is a tactical first-person shooter where, yes, you do play in Vegas, but in the first level you play in Mexico or some other country, but it's linked in a way because the terrorist group you're attacking in that location attacks some of the major locations in Las Vegas. Yeah, in Las Vegas. So it's tactical shooter, very bright, very colorful, but you still have to be careful with your characters. Okay, potential no. This one, it's another Tom Clancy game, so... but this one was interesting. I don't know if I could get it to work. Actually, I can play it without it, but I don't know. It was more fun to kind of try and get it. It was Tom Clancy's End War. This was the first one to try and integrate their Sony's Bluetooth headset for the PlayStation 3. I actually owned one. That thing died in like 6 months, unfortunately. That was not very well made. I do remember where the kids like where it's like all the people are like yelling into their headset. Yeah, because you could you're like the commander of a bunch of units, so it's like a RTS type situation. But the gameplay was supposed to be like you could give commands like through the headset saying like helicopter division go north, and like they would start moving up the screen and everything else like that. But if you don't have the headset, you can still play it. It's a traditional RTS. You just you just click, drag, grab the characters you want, and you move them where you want to. So it's still playable, but it's not the same as what it was originally supposed to be. Um, I don't know the story that well for it, though. If it really had a story, or if it was mostly just supposed to be like, this group is attacking this, so let's defend against this type group. So I don't remember exactly what the gameplay for that was, but well, I don't remember the story. I remember the gameplay. The gameplay was RTS, but was supposed to be voice activated. While we're still deciding, I want to go over here. No, not monetization. Description. No, the badges are supposed to be. Next badge slot will. Huh. Okay. Interesting. Alright. I was just curious. I was still supposed to have my badge slots open, but okay. So middle of the road. That's fine. Oops. There we go. Next up, we have Max. We have Transformers: War for Cybertron. This is a third-person shooter, but with our favorite Transformers. I think it follows the story for before the Transformers come to Earth. So I think it's the Autobots and Decepticons fighting on the planet of Cybertron. So I played a little bit of this. I know there's a mission where Starscream is actually one of the defenders of a situation, and you play as he plays Megatron attacking the area, and it's like the story of how Starscream like joins the Decepticons or something. I'm trying to remember that mission. I think it's one of the only ones I played, but it's mission to mission based story, so it's not like you can just move on between the campaigns, which is actually kind of nice sometimes. So you don't need to have like an open world for everything. But I know it was very well made. Like the world was great. Potential, yes. There's a lot more potential yeses and yeses on the PlayStation 3, I feel, than a lot of the other consoles. But I think there was a lot of games on the PS2 that it was just like, hey, I'll pick up. It was like when you get like a bar, like go through the bargain bin type situation, like GameStop used to do, which was a lot more efficient. The movie's got such a bad rap, it makes yeah. Well, this was when I think this came out when Transformers 2 came out, and it's based more off the comic and cartoon storyline than it is based off of the movie storyline, I think. Don't quote me 100%, but I believe it's based more off the animated series and the comics over anything else. We are almost done. I think we have like 6 or 7 left. Next we have Tron Evolution. This is a spin-off game from the Tron Legacy movie. You play as a specialized program created by Flynn, and the game takes place during the scene from Tron Legacy where it's the flashback of him explaining what happened with Korra and the ISOs and everything else like that. The game takes place during that section, and you're trying to find Flynn after that section, and then you're also trying to assist anyone that needs to, and it's a third-person action game that has some parkour elements and everything else like that. I got lost. I enjoyed the game, but I got lost. That was the one issue that I never went back to. I think either that or my game glitched, because I think I went to an area that like it made something appear that I needed for like a platforming element, and then when the cutscene went away, the platform wasn't there. Tron is potential, yes. I love Tron. I got Hyphen into Tron, and she loves it. So now we have another alternate history shooter. This is Turning Point Fall of Liberty. Not the best one in the genre, but it's still interesting. The main plot point or twist for history is that, and it actually has been discussed in history books of like, if this had happened, like the turning point of World War II would have been a lot different. In this element, the one part of history that changed was 1930s. Winston Churchill was in a car crash. I believe that he survived, obviously, in this one, but in this iteration of the world, he died in that car crash, so he wasn't there to lead the British against the Germans in World War II in this one. So in this story, it's the Germans succeed in taking over Britain and then cross over the Atlantic to start attacking New York City in this one. So, I don't know. I always love alternate history. Interesting. Apparently you also love alternate history story arcs. Next up is Untold Legends Dark Kingdoms. Best I can describe is this is alternate history is very interesting. It's kind of one of the reasons I want to play Freedom Fighters soon, if I can. Next up, we have Untold Legends Dark Kingdom. This was I think this was literally one of the first 5 games on the PlayStation 3. It is the closest thing for a long time we had to a Gauntlet game on the PlayStation. You choose between a rogue, a wizard, and a warrior, and you go through and you hack and slash a bunch of enemies type situation. So it's kind of like a mindless fun game. Not to the point of, say, like a Dynasty Warriors, I think, but it's still in that vein where it's like you go around fighting people, taking over situations. I don't even know. Potential, yes. Like, I don't even remember how it pans out, because it was such an old game even when I got my PlayStation 3. This one I don't remember much about. I thought it just had a cool I thought it had a cool name and a cool cover. So we had Venetica. So this is another strong female lead style that uses magic and sorcery, sword fighting and everything else like that. I think it had more RPG elements than, say, like Bayonetta or something like that. So I think you could level your character up while fighting enemies. I don't remember 100% off the top of my head because it's been a while since I've touched it, obviously. But it is a fantasy RPG hack and slash. I think it's trying to be like potential. Okay. This one's going to be questionable because I don't know if the servers are up. Kind of like you were talking about with Resistance. It's Warhawk. I think there's and I believe the sequel Starhawk is also in the same vein. I don't own Starhawk, but it's a massive. I don't even know if there's a campaign to it. Which is going to be the other issue. It is from what I know, it was a massive multiplayer shooter. You could build bases, you could build vehicles to get around the map, because there were also very large maps and everything. So if the servers are up, this would kind of be like a fun little romp to try out, but I don't know if they're up. So that's the only issue that I have with it. Man, going back, it's like I bought these games and it's just like, I don't remember if these are even still working nowadays. Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think I included that last one. No, I did not. I don't care about that last one. That actually wasn't my game anyway, so Warhawk is going to be based off whether or not the servers are even still up. So that's going to be the interesting thing. Fan-hosted servers, apparently not sure what it would take to connect to them, though. Well, I'll put it more towards potential no, because it's a shame because I never actually even got to play the game. But I'm not gonna like force myself to like go out and do stuff like that. Quick Google. Okay, well, it's under potential no, so it's not out of the run. It's not out of the running. Next up we have Wet. That's just the title. It is a hack and slash RPG or hack and slash adventure shooter made by Bethesda. I think they were hoping it would become a series because there was a lot of money that went to this when it came out. Gameplay's good. It kind of feels like a 70s or 80s trying to figure out how I want to describe it, because it's not a comic book style, but it's also not like kind of want to say like the old like Shaft movies where it's like you have like the shifting graphics that would go across the screen when you try to move somewhere. It's very violent. But I remember the gameplay being tight, but the game never kind of panned out how Bethesda wanted it. I also have to make sure this works because there's something on the disc. But if we get to that when we get to it. But yeah, so there's this. There's Dish. Let me just explain it that way. It's yeah, it's really weird because it's like I wanted it to be good, but I'm not sure how it would go. So we're on to the last three. So we actually got through all the PlayStation 3 games in one shot. Actually didn't take as long as the timer said because we had that point where I had the starting soon screen. You were getting your stuff done, then we joined in a little later. So we're actually have most of these done soon. We have White Knight Chronicles. This was the last game. No, this was not the last game that Level 5 did on the last game Level 5 did on the PlayStation 3 was Ni no Kuni, but then they remastered it. I have yet to play this series. I've heard it's good, but I heard they also tried to implement online elements to this, and I don't know exactly how that would work with them. If it has a straight single player setup, then I would not mind trying this. Because I love Level 5. They're great. Games are always great. If you know anything about these, then I would actually love to hear it, because this is one of my favorite JRPG companies for this time period, because I don't know what Level 5 has done lately, unfortunately. Not familiar, to be honest. So I'll put it as potential. It is a JRPG, but I personally don't know much about it either. It was level 5, so I had to have it. Next up, a game that was fraught with controversy, but not because of the actual game itself, but the company. We have X-Men Destiny. This is a hack and slash RPG where you make your own mutant during a situation in the X-Men universe. You can create your own powers, combine powers, implement different things. X-Men is a yes. Is it the best? I'm gonna just go ahead. Is it the best X-Men game? No. Is it a good X-Men game? Yes. Oh, thank you, Z. Welcome in, by the way. We are actually about to finish up this stream, and then I'm gonna be back on. Huh? Why'd that not work? Interesting. That's interesting. I have to double check to see if my stuff is on. Actually, I can do that now. Streamlabs. Because that should have worked. Interesting. Let's go. Clapbot. Nope. Clapbot was off for some reason. That would have been great. I'm really glad my community, like people in my community actually really like each other. But Z, we're about to get off with this stream, and then I'm gonna take about an hour break or so, and then we'll be back on with some Miles Morales in a little bit. But we're finishing up discussing my PlayStation 3 collection. If you are interested in seeing what I have the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and this one will be up a little later. Of course. I actually love having new members get along really well. And I think for the last game in my PlayStation 3 physical collection, because I did mention that, I think Fen will be interested in this one, because it is a mech. game. This one is more about high-speed aerial mechs, but we have the Zone of Enders collection. This has Zone of Enders 1 and 2, which were PlayStation 2 games, classic. Hopefully Konami did not crap the bed on this one, because they did a terrible job with the Silent Hill Remastered collection. But Zone of Enders, high speed, very energetic mech combat. You use like lasers and swords and everything else like that. But did you say mech? Ben, I didn't just say mech. I said high speed mechs, where you can like zoom around with boosts and laser swords and everything else like that. Yeah, so not just mech, high speed mechs. So I'm gonna guess that's a double thumbs up, or like the multiple thumbs up going across the entire page type situation, if I know you that well. And I feel like I do. Am I cheerful again? Answer is yes. That is a yes. Alright, so let me go ahead and data worked. Sort by should we stream, add level, and title. Okay. So, putting it out, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 games for potential. I'm gonna say, because there's a potential limit, level, but for potential streams, but restricted due to copyright. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games on a direct no. Yes. I would say that. Or it's a game that it's after the potential yes is either we play for 1 or 2 streams, see how we like it, and we stop if we're not engaged. Or potential yes is we are interested in doing a full stream of it, but there's other games ahead of it that we want to play first. So like, we want to play Final Fantasy 13 before Mirror's Edge type situation. Like between these, or we want to play. Let's go down here really quick. We want to play Heavy Rain before we want to play Enslaved Odyssey to the West type situation. So there's 2 different levels. I think there's 2 different variations of potential yes. Potential yes is if I bring it up and we want to try it out for 2 episodes, we can definitely try it. Or if we get through all of the yes games, which is a lot, and then we're done with those, then we can move into the potential yeses and then have those be on the list for the ones that are up to like be next on stream. So it's like the layers of what we're going to play type situation, but if we want to mix in a potential or potential yes as a one-off for the moment to see how we like it, and it could trigger like a thing that's like, I love this, I want to play more of it, and we'd keep playing that. But it's not like the one that we're like super excited for. Also, there's a shit ton of potential yeses on the PlayStation. So there's 6 no's. Potential no's. There. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We got 12 potential no's. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. We have 21 middle of the road potentials. Off protocol to Jesus Christ. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. We have 32 potential yeses. So 32 potential one-offs, or to bring them in after we have the yeses, which there are a lot of yeses as well. Not as many as the potential yeses, though. I think there was more. Yeah, I actually think there was more yeses in comparison to the PlayStation 2 list. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Shit, I lost my spot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Portal 2. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 yeses. So, like, games that we want to stream all the way through. So that's a lot on the PlayStation 3, and then we still have more to go through on... Yeah, and then we were just discussing we want to go through and check out the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 games for potential ones that we'd be interested in as well, because I have a decent amount of physical games of those. Granted, a large amount of my PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 collection is digital now, so we'll have to look into that. Let me go ahead and save this. Ooh, autosave with... Oh my god! I didn't have autosave on that entire time. That could have been disastrous. Save a copy. It's PC. Oh my god. That could have been... Yes, replace it, please. Oh my god, that could have been disastrous. Oh my god, that could have been horrible. That would have been 2.5 hours of our lives just down the drain if I had done that. I mean, time to do it again if it had happened, right? No, yeah, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But no, we're not doing that again. If we decide to change anything, I made the post on the Discord. Would it be easier just to post the Excel documents for you guys to look at? To say, like, if you guys really, really want to watch something, you can, like, look through the list and say, like, do this, instead of, like, typing out every single game. Well, with this many games, it would definitely... I think the PlayStation 1 was easier because it was only 40. Unless you want me to write a synopsis of what I know about the games, and so you can make a decision on that. It'll take a while, but I can do that. And if I want to actually, like, create an environment like this, it might be better if I actually do write out the stuff instead of just letting it hang like that. It does, but it's my Discord, so if it would be helpful for my community, I should probably go ahead and do the typing out. But if I became a full-time streamer, I mean, I'd be doing this anyway because it would be helping my community with whatever they wanted to do. So, honestly, it's not a bad thing if I want to focus on doing something else to help them. But, my call, obviously. Yeah, I know. What I could probably do is I could post the document and then break it down. So if anybody just wants to look at the thing, they can look at the documents, or if they want to actually break down everything individually, they can look through a game. Or if they're looking at the document, they see a game they're interested in, they can go to where the spot is on the list and look at it. So it could be a variation of both. So I mean, I'm not upset about doing either. But it is almost 1 o'clock. I'm gonna go ahead and take about a hour and a half break to recharge the battery, so to speak, before I start doing some Miles Morales. That'll be on for a little bit because Hyphen doesn't get off until about 6 o'clock today. She has a very long day. If she is not... If she is tired and she's not up to Wife Quit Weekend tonight, I will let you guys know. But she likes dropping in because she likes seeing everybody. But I'm not going to force her if she's tired because she's had a very long week. But that'll be there, and that'll be there when we find it. So, thank you very much for joining in. As I said, I'm going to take a quick break, and then I will be on in a little bit to work on Miles Morales, because that seems to be my Friday game right now. Because Friday I have more time to stream. So, thank you. Mwah. Bye. And thank you for helping out with the kind of the ideas we were thinking of for this. So, I will work on the PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3 guidelines that we're doing on the Discord. It'll take a while, but other than that, I mean, it's gonna take a while, but it is what it is. Uh, thank you guys, and I'll see you in a little bit. So, bye guys.